What's up, man? I finally just saw that you posted a video response, and I watched it and took some notes, and I'm going to try to respond. I think, first off, the way that you were talking about what I was calling the other and the unknown, the mysterious, the way you're talking about it, you're sort of personifying it, giving it intentions. And even though you said, I'm not talking about the Abrahamic religions, which posit that God is this actual human-like being that makes decisions about the fate of humanity and interferes in history and all that crazy stuff. You're still using that image to interpret what I'm talking about when I refer to that which encompasses the horizons of our awareness, the other, the mysterious, the unknown. The unknown has no intentions for us. It has no good or evil plans for humanity. It doesn't interfere with our day-to-day lives. It is implicated in our day-to-day lives. It's always involved in everything that happens to us and everything that we do. But it isn't making decisions about any of it for us. It is, this word is. What is this word is? What does it mean? Well, it means being. But what is being? What is it to exist? And questions like these, a lot of people will say, oh, it's just nonsense. You're playing with language and metaphysics. But we exist. And that existence it can't be explained. And when you can't explain being, you refer to it as mysterious. And when something's mysterious, it means, you're irrevocably involved in it, whatever it is. You're participating in the unfolding of whatever it is, but you don't know what it is. And you can't know what it is, because that would require that you were outside of it, that you were no longer participating in it, that you had an objective view from outside. And we don't. At least not while we're alive. I mean, I can't speculate about what happens after death. But I assume it's something like what came before I was born, which I don't know much about either, but you can see how we're in a pretty paradoxical situation. So don't personify the unknown. And when we start asking why evil, why suffering, well, now that we know that the God of the Bible or the Quran or the Torah is not what I'm talking about when I talk about the other and the unknown. It has no intentions. It doesn't have the ability to prevent evil from occurring. It doesn't have the ability to prevent suffering from occurring. Only we have the ability to prevent suffering from occurring. And the fact that life is suffering is it's another deep spiritual truth, I think. It's the core of Buddhism. The Buddha wasn't trying to explain existence or give people knowledge of reality or solve a problem. He was trying to relieve suffering, like a medical doctor. And his prescription was to avoid attachment. But, there's a bit of a paradox here too, because while he would say, the nature of existence is impermanence, and those who grasp after certain things in the environment that they think are permanent, the people we love and the money we want to accumulate and the ideas we want to formulate, we think they're stable, and once we've got them, they'll never leave us. But inevitably, they do. You can't catch a river in a bucket and have it still be a river. You can't fall in love and have it be somehow forced. You can't be creative if you're always stuck on this same intellectual structure. So, in a sense, it's good that the universe is impermanent, but it does create this need to grab and to have, and because everything is impermanent, it can't happen. And the paradoxical situation is that there is no self to begin with who could have anything. So Buddhism isn't saying stop being attached, you naughty human, stop grabbing after things, you selfish being. It's saying you can't be selfish, you don't even have a self. So this is why Buddhism is kind of counterintuitive. You can't understand it because it's not about understanding anything intellectual. It's not going to make rational sense. So that's why spirituality is important when you're faced with the issues in life, like suffering, like impermanence, like birth and death, that you can't deal with rationally. You have to take a spiritual approach to them. And as far as mythology goes, because knowledge and empiricism and science can only take us so far, even the theory of evolution itself, in the strict sense, the idea that organisms evolve into certain niches where natural selection and adaptation occur, this is perfectly true. It's essentially a fact, but the grand narrative, the idea that this theory of evolution proves, or can explain at least, how everything we know about life came to be what it is today, it's a myth. And this myth of natural selection and survival of the fittest is a product of Darwinism, obviously, but we use this idea of what nature is to apply to what society should be, to what morality should be. And that's what mythology is all about. It's trying to understand nature and apply it to human life, because somehow what makes us human is the fact that we know nature, and this knowing nature is what makes us human. So no other creature can know that it knows, even if this knowledge is in a sense, it's restricted, it's finite. We still know that we know, or at least we certainly know that we don't know. And this self-consciousness, no animals, at least most animals that we know of, don't have this. Perhaps dolphins and chimps to a certain extent seem to express the ability to recognize themselves in a mirror, for instance. But humans have a very especially adapted ability to do this. And is that where religion and spirituality come from? Sure, of course it is. But that doesn't mean then we've explained it away and it's nothing. Oh, it's nothing but a blind evolutionary process. No, it's what humans do. Humans make meaning. They can't live without making meaning. Having a life is a part, is not separate from having a meaning for that life. If you don't have a meaning, you don't wake up in the morning. You would commit suicide. And some really depressed or intensely aware existentialists, like Camus, for instance, he said that the only serious philosophical question is whether or not to commit suicide. And I think spirituality is what happens when we answer that we shouldn't commit suicide. If you do that, it's because you're making meaning for yourself. Is the universe in and of itself meaningful? I don't know. I don't think it matters. But human beings, by virtue of the fact that they are human, are making meaning all the time. So hopefully I've explained myself a little bit better. Let me know what you think, man. Take it easy.